Jared may be saving the world in his new film, but here on The One Show, that is Lucy's job. One piece of plastic at a time.
And now she thinks it's crunch time for the crisp packet.
90% of us munch through roughly 6 billion bags of crisps a year. That's a lot of empty packets.
So what happens to them all? Well, packets like this are not easily recyclable, so they either end up in the bin or just generally discarded.
Beach Clean volunteers have found crisp bags dating back decades. This 10-year-old boy unearthed a Walker's packet 3 times his age.
But recently, empty crisp packets have been ending up somewhere else. In the post.
Crisp eaters across the nation have been sharing selfies on social media of them posting Walker's crisp packets back to the company. They've been spurred on by a campaign started by Geraint Ashcroft from South Wales.
After I was taken ill, I was home, really bored, and I started looking at what could be recycled. I was amazed to see that crisp packets could be recycled. So I thought, well, what can we do about it? So I started a petition.
Geraint's petition was calling for crisp companies to make their packets environmentally friendly. After a slow start, it soon took off.
We went from 500 to 200,000 signatures.
His campaign had gone viral, and Walker's invited Geraint to meet company bosses.
Geraint is understandably impatient for change. So what exactly are the crisp companies doing to make their packaging cleaner and greener?
Along with Walker's, we put that question to 7 of the other big manufacturers in the UK. Only 3 others replied. Tato told us they were looking at a way of recycling their bags into reusable goods. And Seabrook said they were working hard to replace non-recyclable materials in their packaging. KP Snacks said their current focus was on reducing the volume of film they use. I've come to Loughborough University to meet Dr. Rhoda Trimmingham, an expert in sustainable packaging. She knows exactly what goes into making a crisp packet.
It's not just one layer of plastic, as it seems. Packets can have up to 9 different layers. So you can see we've split it into 2 already. You can see some of this one coming off. And you can see some clear patches here.
Why is it so complicated? It's just a crisp bag.
Yeah, well, crisps are actually really tricky to keep fresh. And the reason there's so many different plastics is that they all have different barrier properties. We've got layers in here that stop moisture getting in, and you've got some, like this metallised plastic, which will stop light getting in and will stop oxygen getting in.
And all of these different plastics, they cause a problem for recycling, right?
Yes, recyclers like their plastics to be singular and clean.
But it's Walker's who are really under the microscope as the UK market leader. And today I've also been invited to their HQ in Leicester to meet their executive, Duncan Gordon, and find out what they're doing to make their packaging more sustainable.
This is a really serious issue. You are producing a bit of plastic that is incredibly hard to recycle.
We don't want our crisp packets to pollute the environment, so that's why we are taking a huge amount of action to ensure that our crisp packets are 100% recyclable, compostable or biodegradable. And we've got a target of 2025 to achieve that.
Could you bring your target forward, because this is an emergency?
We can't bring our target forward because we don't have one solution available now that we can implement to solve this. There's been a number of trials throughout the world around different types of material. Those trials haven't always been successful. We have trials that have just started of actually paper bags.
Right.
These are currently in our factory, but they're tearing as they go through our machines. So they're not available in the shops yet. We're working really hard to solve this technical challenge. If anybody buys a 6-pack of Monster Munch, we're going to be changing their bags into this to take out 30% of the plastic.
I'd like to see things move a little bit quicker. And what about all those crisp packets that have been sent back to Walker's as a result of Geraint's campaign?
We've received about 5,000 crisp packets. We're going to be using them in our research and development. Also setting up a system where people can return their crisp packets to a collected area. We will then wash and shred them. This shredded material will then be turned into plastic pellets, and it will be recycled as a segment of a bench, or it will be made into flower pots, other basic plastic products.
That's more like it. So that's at least 5,000 packets that won't find their way onto our beaches.
And Lucy's with us now. I'm relieved to find out why I didn't get any birthday cards this year. What is the Royal Mail advice on stuffing crisp packets into a letterbox?
Pack it in is their advice on
good.
stuffing the packets in, ho-ho. Put them in an envelope. Protest, we like this protest, but put them in an envelope because otherwise it snags up all of their machinery, so they don't want us to do it. And Walkers have announced today that from December you will be able to mail your crisps in an envelope straight to the recycler. So that's the new scheme that they briefly mentioned in the film. So they've officially announced it.
All right, but there's lots of pressure on us as consumers. Can you believe, as a side note, Gerard Butler's never had a crisp sandwich?
Yeah.
You've not lived. But anyway,
Rectify that. That's
what are the producers doing then? You know, are there immediate plans to try and rectify this?
Yes, so some of the crisp giants have looked at reducing plastic that goes into their packaging. And so KP Snacks that do the hula hoops and those kind of brands, they've reduced plastics in their multi-packs, 11% since 2007, but I don't know what the percentage is of. So these statistics are always a bit weird. M&S, they had Project Thin Air, so they say they've slashed plastic in their popcorn packaging. However, I can't get terribly excited about this because the plastic bag is still a plastic bag, and if a fish ingests some of it, or birds or wildlife get involved with the plastic bag, then they're not going to know. It's still plastic, isn't it? But we have tried. To be fair, PepsiCo did try and bring in a more ambitious compostable bag in the States in 2006, and American consumers, they complained about the noise of the packaging because the decibels were too high with compostable packaging. They tried giving them earplugs. That didn't work, so they recalled the packaging. So they have tried and failed before.
So the technology exists, but I'm presumably not complaints from neighbours about people eating crisps.
Maybe it was in cinema. Well, maybe it's in cinemas. If you go and see, a film, you don't want somebody like crunching crisps really loud.
But in the privacy of your own lounge, does it matter?
Apparently, people really didn't like it. They really didn't like it.
I scream while I eat crisps, they'll hate me. Does that mean, presumably, that the crisps that come in a cardboard tube, are they better for the world?
No, not according to the chairman of the Recycling Association, who held one of these tubes up at an industry conference and said, which idiot designed this? So he didn't like, he's not a great fan. It was you, yeah. He's not a great fan of the mix of materials. So we've got cardboard, we've got metal, and we've got plastic, all of which he said were very difficult to recycle. So Pringles say it's not. They say they take the environment very seriously, our shared planet very seriously, and they say this allows them to deliver the snack in good quality and stops food waste.
But hang on, isn't their motto once you pop?
I don't know about you, but I don't tend to waste them or keep them, I'm afraid, once they're open.
They're all gone.
They're gone. Yeah.
Lucy, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a good weekend.